Alright, so before I try this again for a fourth time, I want you to take a very good look at all the Tetra units that we have that are bursary and see what's wrong with this fucking picture. Alright, now we got that established. Fourth time's a charm. So I tried recording this before, and I think I kind of went off on a big rant and big tangent, so it's not really good at explaining why this works for the tower. Second time around, the audio was weirdly loud, and trying to correct that, it wouldn't work. Third time, there was sirens, air raid, bombings going on in my city. Just kidding, by the way. I do live on a very, very busy street, so lots of sirens do like to make the travel directly to a loop that does tend to frequently have accidents. I mean, like literally on a daily basis. There's not a day that don't go by where I don't hear sirens and wailing, and it's well, if I don't hear that, it's a very weird day. So, fourth time's a charm. This is going to be my Tetra Tower, an attempt at explaining it anyway, see how it works. There's been some revisions for it for a while. I think early on, I think it might have been Noise, Blanc, Volumes, Noir, and then Summer and Nice. Replaced Volume with Soda because I needed range, and I replaced Summer and Nice because, again, I needed range. Range is very important, very much down the line. So, this is going to be a little bit of how it works, why it works, explanation on burst rotations, etc., etc. Remember, this is just for the Tetra Tower, and I believe in due time, maybe not next month, but probably a little bit down the line, when I have enough resources, depending how luck rolls on my end, I will be replacing Blanc and Noir with Dolla and Winter Ludmilla. That's the plan anyway. I want range. I want range, and I want fodder killing. So this is Noise. She's max core. This is max bond rating. She has an SR doll that I think is phase 10. Yep. Max gear. She is part of my main team composition. She is part of my Tetra Tower. She is part of boss killing. She is part of my arena. She is literally the everywhere. She's amazing. She's really, really good. Overload stats, I believe the helm and the gloves have probably largely remained the same. I don't think I've really ever rerolled these for anything different. I think these I have rerolled for sure, because at an average roll you would get 11% attack, and I think I rerolled that for, I think that was hit rate. And then I just rerolled that, and I guess it just gave me defense and attack, which is perfectly fine, works very well in the arena. And then that got rerolled. I don't think I blew through 7 modules today, if that tells you anything. Noise is primarily the tank, the taunter, the healer, the self-sustaining capability Nikke. She's a buffer. She's really, really good. I mean, it doesn't really look like it's an amazing kind of skill set, but this practically gets at least procs once per battle. Skill 2 is where her taunt comes in, and recovering HP. I know it doesn't say that. It says increases max HP. Whenever you see something like that phrase, it does tend to say it maxes the HP, meaning it increases the overall HP plus restores HP to go along with it. And then eventually, when that max HP falls off, then that's it. But the restored HP stays with it. So that's pretty solid. You'll actually see some descriptions out there that does say like max HP without restoring health to go along with it or whatever. I don't care for those Nikkes, and they tend to really kind of have no place in this game. Diesel is one of the very few exceptions, so I'll say that. And then burst skill, nothing really much to say. It's really bad because it's 40 seconds, but given the fact that it's a very, very powerful skill, it's not really all that bad, I guess, other than the big cooldown. But it works very similar to how max HP is, and max HP here. Basically, that's like 50% recovery of the HP, plus increasing the overall HP, plus restoring HP every 1 second for 10 seconds. That's pretty solid. pretty good. And then when a max HP falls off, you still keep that restored HP. So this is why I like Noise. She's very, very good. I don't know if I really want to keep this on her, but the main reason why I do actually keep this on her, and it's also a problem, is because charge speed, I do use that for the arena. The arena does keep her, it does help generate burst in the arena. But in a general stage clearing, I think is kind of a little bit bad, because I really don't want her to maintain skill 2. I kind of really want that max HP to fall off, so that way she can constantly keep regenerating HP or increasing her overall max HP. But if she's full on HP, then that's fine. So, you know, it's fairly solid. Being a launcher type Nikke means that she does AoE damage, which is really, really good. So I do like that a lot. You can't go wrong with Noise. Certain boss battles, there is a little bit of an issue with that, mostly because you really don't want a boss to hard focus on one Nikke, and especially since pressure damage does actually build up over time, it can eventually mean that Noise is not capable of surviving all that damage. But if you burst with Noise then Blanc, then it's a little bit different, especially since Soda does a little bit of healing every 12 seconds. So there's heals, but it's usually it's not timed correctly to keep her alive. But in my opinion, if she disconnects during the battle and we still win, then in my opinion, Noise has done her job. Can't go wrong with Noise. Blanc. Really more of a utility Nikke. Sadly, she has no real capabilities of doing any real damage, and that's kind of my fault on my end, but we'll talk about that in a few seconds. She does have a blue doll. I was actually trying to do some cleaning on it to get that super success, and then I realized, why am I wasting my resources on a blue doll when the super success has pretty much almost I know that the probability, it looks like it says 17% here, and maybe on an SR doll it'll probably be like a 5.7% or whatever. I've had pretty good success with the SR doll on a 5% over a blue doll with a measly 17% or a 55% or 100%, which is just a giant colossal waste of resources. I stopped listening to people who always seem to think that they know better about this game when really they're just, well, they don't know shit. But then again, I don't know much myself, but I'm not wasting resources on a fucking blue doll. She is core 1, she is max bond, she is my burst 2 enabler. So, well, not that bad. Being an assault rifle Nikke, so not that bad. And the overload gear, I've been wanting to actually upgrade the overload levels for the gear, but it's just, if I don't plan on using Blanc very soon, then that's such a damn good roll for an Red Hood. I can see I do have a lot of max HP, max ammo capacity. It's just that I got tired of re-rolling for it after a while, simply because of RNG just pissing me off. If I'm not mistaken, she has a roughly around 182 rounds. The main reason being is because of skill 1, which requires her to land 120 normal shots, which means she has roughly around 62 shots to play around to mess with. But it's not that bad. Again, she's not a damage dealer. She has a potential of being one. It's just that I don't have attack rolls on it. And Blanc or Noir does give her a little bit much more attack, but assault rifles don't really tend to be that amazing for me on my end. The main reason being is because they just have an average attack speed, an average reload speed, an average damage dealing. They have average hit rate. They just have average everything, so they're not really all that great. There are a few exceptions, but Blanc is certainly not one of them. The shield generates it's whatever. I don't care too much for shields. I think shields in this game are just really, really stupidly becoming not popular. I don't even know who's asking for shields, but shields do tend to actually become a thing, and then later on they're temporary. They're not really useful. They proc at the worst times, and when you do want them to proc, it's usually too little too late, or it's just too early, or it's just it just never really happens when you really want it to. You can have totally fully control of this. It's just that you have to keep count yourself of how many shots you're landing. Shields are actually pretty okay for a couple of bosses. Nihilister during the breath attack. Kraken during the pulsing blast attack. And I think Ultra, whenever Ultra does the giant sneeze, and then after the giant sneeze, which follows up with the giant boogers attack. Other than that, I think shields are just... This is kind of a waste. This is really just a waste. It's just 5 musical seconds, and sometimes it doesn't even work when I want it to, but it's whatever. Rabbit's Twins W. This is an okay kind of skill. Don't give too much of a damn for it, really. First of all, let's just get this out of the way. You do have to have either Noir or Rouge on these squads. If you don't, then suddenly she goes from a 20-second cooldown Nikke to a 60-second cooldown Nikke. Keep that in mind. She does have to have one of these two on the field, and they do have to be alive. Sadly, I think this is really the only squad that we've actually seen with squad benefits of being on the same team. I don't count the collaboration, the shitty one from the early February of this year with the collaboration with the Garbage Maid, and I don't give a shit about that. That's not actually part of Nikke. And as far as I'm aware of, if you cannot obtain it as of now, then it's not part of Nikke. So there's that. Just getting out of the fucking way. It's the only squad I've actually ever seen with a squad setup. Other than that, this is okay. It activates at the end of full burst. Things do tend to happen after full burst ends. I hate that. It's mostly because all these attacks and stuff like that. It's like, why couldn't this happen while I was under attack during full burst when HP was being recovered? But having something to kind of fall back on afterwards is pretty cool. I do like this ability. Unfortunately, I've only been able to make very good use of it once during a team composition consisting of Vesti, Isabel, Leader, and I think herself and somebody else. And this was actually pretty cool. I think it was actually Sin. Leader, Sin, Vesti, Isabel, and then her. And long story short, it worked out, but whatever. I do like the recover HP after full burst ends. Like I said, it's pretty good. Burst skill, just same thing like skill 2, except it works whenever she bursts, not enter into full burst. She just has to burst. And so it's a little bit of an oddball number. Recover HP every 1 second for 8 seconds. Okay, it's whatever. It's barely even full burst, but still. Oh, well, it is kind of like full burst, but whatever. This ability kind of sucks for me, and the main reason being is because every time I really want it to work on for one person, and that's Noise, it winds up working either for the lowest unit in my team with the lowest amount of HP, which I believe is Soda. Yeah, and because Noise always generates more HP, increasing her overall amount of HP, then this skill kind of doesn't actually work for her. It doesn't work with HP missing, it just works based on the HP. At least that's from what I've been seeing. So that's kind of crappy, especially since I really want it to work on Noise. Other than that, I think this is really okay when you need a saver, when you need somebody who's really, really, really in danger. Then you burst ASAP, get that going. I do know how it works. It's just that the problem is that it does tend to actually just go for a Nikke that has the lowest HP when I guess Noise is not somewhere under 3.2 million, if I believe. That's where it needs to proc at. Because she's the lowest with 3.3 million. So it's kind of it kind of sucks for the most part. When I want it to work, it doesn't work. And then the last part of the ability is pretty solid. I do like it for boss fights. I don't like it for general stage clearing because I don't think it works the way I think it should work. It should affect all enemies, but I think all it does is affect all the enemies that are currently on screen, and then the new wave comes in, off screen, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it affects the new enemies that show up. Otherwise, I kind of feel like Soda would be mowing down fodder a little bit faster than she was when she did with the squad, with the enemies that were on screen at the time. It's not that big of a deal, but in a boss fight, it's very, very good. I do like it. And it's kind of like just increasing overall damage, which Noir actually does. So it's everyone increasing damage plus enemy taking more damage. So it's pretty good. I like it. I gave her the HP cube because I wanted her to have more HP. Kind of play to her strengths and weaknesses during her skills because that's what her skills kind of largely rely on. Final max HP, final max HP, final max HP. So the more HP she has, the better her skills will be. I do realize that I don't have these upgraded as much as I should, but it's kind of falling on the part where I don't really want to invest into Blanc anymore. So there's that. Soda. Soda is, well, she's Soda. Yeah. Gave her the purple doll for the machine gun. And you know what they do? Just take a look here. Each unit has their own thing, and this is just a very measly little upgrade. It's very, very small. It's very, very tiny. This is pretty solid. I did scoff at the fact that coverage HP is not really all that important. It kind of really isn't, but when it does kick in and help and matter, then it's actually pretty solid. Been unsuccessful with the cleaning, but that's not really a big deal, especially since I haven't really been trying to actually improve on the cleaning for her. So there's a machine gunner. She's a healer, she's a stunner, she's a damage dealer, she's a self-surviving buffer. She's my fodder killer for sure. I didn't have that very well, and I do, so I'm glad I actually swapped her up for volume because volume is unfortunately a cursed unit. Pretty much the overload gear has been focused more on max HP, attack, and with a little bit of critical damage and crit rate, which has been working out fairly well. The amount of critical hits that she lands plus the critical damage that she can give is just awesome. It's just really, really good, especially for mopping up fodder. Yeah, mopping up fodder. Funny. Her skills aren't really heavily invested, and that's kind of my fault, but the reality is that I've been trying to get my Machine's crew caught up because they're actually the ones that are really, really far behind. I don't count my Pilgrim crew, but Machine's crew is probably one of the Nikkes that I have a little bit of a hard time keeping up with them. Spotless chair. This is why I gave her max ammo capacity so she can get this stacked up ASAP, because the sooner she can get this stacked up ASAP, then the sooner that squeaky floor can actually proc with the maximum value that it should be proccing with, provided of course it stacks up fast enough. And the fact that whenever she enters into burst, she'll burst. Well, if she bursts first, she'll actually increase her overall stack, presuming of course that she has a stack, which by the time I do get burst ready to go, she's already got a stack going, maybe 2. And then I'll burst with her, get a stack going, which would be 3, and then from the rest there, if I worked out the ammo right, I think 1 full magazine, she should be able to actually have this spotless chair fully stacked. But I don't think it stacks in time to get this squeaky clean floor going. But that's quite alright, because after that full stack is going, and then afterwards she's maintaining it on a very simple, easy level because of the amount of ammo she has. Increasing her overall self-survivability is pretty okay. I do like that in the Nikke, especially since, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, she does help out allies a lot. She is meant to be paired with Cocoa, case in point, the fire code stacking, but the thing is that Cocoa is a sniper, doesn't pierce, and she doesn't really have any amazing qualities to go along with it when it comes to general stage clearing. She is pretty good when it comes to removing debuffs, as well as rebuilding cover, but I don't value Cocoa too much in the whole grand scheme of things. Squeaky clean floor. I really would like to give her some more HP, so that way that the recovered HP actually does work. Just having this 2 stacked together every 12 seconds. This is a problem because it's an active ability. I would like to have the option to have the ability to activate that active ability, much like a burst ability, rather than just activating on its own. Because half the time, whenever this procs, we don't need the HP recovery. Active abilities in this game are probably the 3rd worst offenders. We're up there with kill skills and then last bullet effects. So, yeah. Burst ability is just kind of mediocre, just only affects 2 enemies randomly, which is like really, really bad. half the time it'll hit a fodder. If it hits a stage target, then that's great. But the problem is that the amount of damage that dealt to the stage target doesn't really matter. Sometimes the stun doesn't even work on the stage target. If it does work on the stage target, I don't even notice it because sometimes the stage target just wanders around, just jumps around, teleports, just moves side to side. So if it's like if they stop for like a brief second to like because they're stunned and then they resume their moving, it's like what did it do? Nothing. But if you time it for, like, say, like Driver or Vial or, what do you call it, Glasses, you know, the ones that are really, really super annoying, Ponytail, the ones that heal, the ones that do, like, one-shot damage, the one that self-destructs, etc., then I feel like that's actually pretty solid. It buys a little bit of time just to, you know, retarget, reset the charge up that they were planning on doing to probably one-shot your Nikke. I've never actually seen this work on a boss fight, honestly, thinking and remembering and observing. I think it might have hit like a Lord class unit, like what's the Lord class unit? Like Rebuilt Stout, Cucumber. You know, I don't ever see this really work on them. I don't think bosses can be affected by stun. If they can, I've never actually seen it, so that sucks. But I do know that this does actually work for stage targets. Some of them, not all of them. And even if it does hit them, it's not very noticeable. As I said before, she does increase her own stat count whenever she enters her burst. And if the stat count is already full, it just refreshes the duration. So, self-sufficiency. Plus the team player, fodder, killer, range, damage dealer. I like having machine guns. I like Soda. Noir. So you probably noticed that I have heals, and then Noir. Well, we'll find out here in a second. Noir actually does play a little bit of a part for my Anomaly Kraken team. Other than that, I don't care too much to have her. She eventually fell off during my main team composition along with Blanc because lack of range and capabilities of damage dealing. She's actually one of the very few Nikkes I did actually max out Overload gear for. The level of it, not the stats. But except for the boots. Boots aren't really that important to her. Well, in a way they are, but not really. I tried to see if I can actually increase the overall hit rate because I think that's really, really important. Unfortunately, I didn't really get that. I got mostly things that I would like to get on a general unit, but I don't really think she needs max ammo capacity, and the only reason why I say that is because she's one of the fastest reloaders in the entirety of the game as of November of 2024 with the 0.7 seconds. I mean, she's literally fast. So I don't think having more ammo would hurt, but it's not something I wouldn't say roll for it, but I wouldn't say don't roll for it because again, she's the only Nikke as far as I'm aware of that has the naturally fastest reload speed for a shotgunner in the entirety of the game. Which is pretty good, by the way. I do like that. And this is why I have a lot of heals on my team. She's a Nikke that demands to be pampered, make sure that her HP is above 70% HP at all times. Otherwise, this little buff that she gives falls off. This is why I prioritized having the gloves, the headpiece, and the chest piece maxed out because they all give attack. And if you have more core reinforced, plus a maxed out bond rating, plus a doll, plus a cube, then you're looking at increasing that overall attack, which means that skill 1 suddenly becomes a little bit better. And everybody's doing a lot more damage. So this is actually pretty good. I like it. Again, she's a very demanding Nikke to have like 70% HP, which in my opinion, is very, very generous. I think it's one of the lowest I've seen out of all the Nikkes. One of the most demanding Nikkes is actually Soline and Brid, who needs to be at max HP at all times. Alice being the second highest with 80%, and then she's 70%. So she's very maintainable. She's very, very easy to keep above HP. That's why I have all that HP. That's why I have taunt. That's why I have stuff. Yeah. Rabbit's Twins B activates when entering the full burst. I think this is a really, really solid ability. I really liked it. This is why I had to remove Annie Sparkling Summer, or ASS as I like to call her. Figure out the acronym. And then, because giving her more ammo whenever she's bursting was a little bit of a detriment. So there's her reason why that just she didn't work out too well. However, increasing her overall max ammo capacity for herself, for Noise, and for Alice is actually pretty solid. Reloading a portion of that increased ammo capacity is also very good. I don't really need to tell you that this is what Diesel should have been. Treasure Diesel. Instead, she got Pierce damage. This is what it should have fucking been. Increase ammo capacity and reload the ammo capacity. This is such an amazingly good skill. I really, really like it. Synergizes very well with a lot of Nikkes that are not last bullet, but this is a really good ability. And then her burst, which does AoE damage. It's enough to kill fodder. It's enough to wound fodder, I would say, too. It works out fairly well when it comes to boss fights like Land Eater, Nihilister, Altizen, anyone that actually does bomblet drop. So long as you can time that bomblet drop, or so long as you can time it whenever they have those bomblets out, or rockets or whatever, and you can just one-shot those things. Doesn't always one-shot them. Keep that in mind. Modernia is kind of like you're not going to burst just to get rid of 6 bombs, whatever. You could just cover dodge with that one. Nihilister does like 2 big waves of rockets, and then she flies over and burns you. If you time it just right, you can blow up all those rockets, and the AI will just be refocused back on Nihilister. It's fairly good. I do like the AoE capabilities. Anything AoE capability is pretty good. This one's really just for herself, just increases overall hit rate and interruption to red circles, which is actually pretty good. The hit rate is very, very good. I do like that, especially since she does suffer from the part where her shotgun hits everything but the target. And if the target does get hit, it's probably 1 or 2 pellets. It's really, really bad whenever the AI does tend to heavily focus on the very teeny tiny distant target that is driver or sniper or vial, or the little ones that like to buff up targets in a very far off distance and stuff like that. Like I wish the AI would be more focused on what's up front than what's in the very far back. But I don't think it'll ever get fixed because it's a mobile game, and Shift Up doesn't have any priority straight. This will always proc because again, Blanc is on the same field with Noir, so that's pretty good. Again, this is one of those things where squad bonuses were coming into play, but unfortunately Shift Up kind of ADHD kind of just forgot it existed. They were like, well, let's move on to the next exciting thing, and then the next thing, and it's like that one episode of Malcolm in the Middle where Hal's changing the light bulb, but he goes to get a light bulb, but then the shelf falls, and then he goes to get a screwdriver, and then he hears the drawer squeak. He goes to get WD-40 for the drawer, but then the WD-40 is empty, so he goes to his car to go get more WD-40, and then his car is making a noise, and then he takes out the engine to fix the car, and then it's kind of like that. I think that's where Shift Up is at. I think they're just they're moving on to the next thing that they think is really fun, rather than kind of refine the thing that's already at here. Anyway, hit rate for everybody is pretty solid. Damage to interruption parts is relatively okay. It really only works during boss fights, particularly against Nihilister and Gravedigger. But I'm not saying it doesn't work at all, but it's pretty good. I do like the interruption of parts. Hit rate for herself, this actually does stack. If I remember correctly, I do see 2 things with hit rate. So giving herself some more hit rate on top of already having hit rate built into her armor plus a cube means that she should be able to land more damage. But I think it's kind of funny whenever Soda's dealing more damage than Noir. So I think as of right now, the hit rate only affects herself in Blanc. Soda does not need hit rate because she can hit anything. Rockets can hit anything, so it doesn't hurt. It doesn't help Noise. And as far as I'm aware of, a sniper should be able to hit anything, but they tend to be really bad sometimes. So Noise and Noir are really more of a utility unit, not really much of an impressive damage dealer. But the utility kind of, in a way, makes up for it, but it eventually kind of falls off. So at least that's how it's been working for me anyway. They give her the hit rate cube. I really want her to deal damage, so I want those pellets as grouped as they possibly can. And last but not least, Alice. Alice did replace a new Sparkling Summer, aka Ass, because she sucks. Shotguns are just not really good, especially since Anise does require to have low ammo, and her and Noir don't play well. But at least with Alice, I finally replaced what was the big problem, was range. So I did give her the SR doll that came along with her Alice diary. I didn't waste my resources on it. I don't care for Alice, to be 100% honest with you. I don't have time to be doing this. This is what I see mostly when it comes to people playing. They do this. And I don't have time to be fucking doing that. I don't want to be wasting my time trying to perfect that little minuscule, insignificant technique just for big numbers. So I don't care for it. It's not helpful for me in any way, shape, or form. I get that most people these days are actually using a macro for their mouse. I thought Shift Up actually took care of that problem, but evidently not. She is a Coral 2. I can't get rid of her. I would love to get rid of her. I would love to remove her from my synchro chamber. Unfortunately, there are two reasons for that. She's a range unit, and I do need range for the Tetra Tower. 2, she's permanently locked into my synchro chamber because she is one of the 5 Nikkes that actually hit level 200. She is bond track level 30. I do like the character. I just don't like snipers. I fucking hate snipers. Snipers are terrible in this game. They overkill shit, they don't hit shit right, and then they don't have pierce. Alice is one of those very few rare exceptions. Overload gear. I hate the fact that I put so much effort into this, just trying to get that ammo capacity. Charge speed, I think, appeared once, and since then I have not seen charge speed ever again. But I did have ammo capacity, which did help because there was a level that did require ammo capacity. She is one of those Nikkes that does have a very long charge up time, so you do want charge speed. Unfortunately, energizing carrot when entering the full burst does not work when I really wanted to, mostly because, well, so you remember when I said about those sirens, right? Fuck hell. I can't tell if they're actually going to come down this street or not. Okay, I think they're going away. They're doing their own different block. God damn it, dude. It's a very busy city, okay? Energizing Carrot does not work for her in any way, shape, or form because Noir and Noise are, I think, the ones that are actually taking the buff. I hate that. I've been trying to actually build up her attack so that way it's better than Noir's, but I think the way Noir's work is because I think skill 1 is increasing her overall attack plus their natural high attack plus the attack that's built into her armor, so I think that's what's actually taking the buff over Alice. That sucks, but I think when I eventually replace Blanc and Noir, this should actually be affecting herself as well as Noise. At least I think that's how it's going to work. I could be wrong somewhere down the lines. This is actually an okay ability when it works for her, but when it doesn't work for her, it's kind of like, oh, well, whatever. Healthy Carrot. There's really no reason to actually bother upgrading this other than to increase her overall combat power and this to increase her overall HP that she recovers. You can tell in the diary that the developers did not give two shits about this ability, otherwise they would have made you, force you to actually upgrade it in order to actually get whatever reward that comes along with it. They only prioritize skill 1 and the burst skill, and they know because the skill doesn't do shit. So that it sucks, it really does, but other than that, if you don't even look at this, the only real reason why this even exists is to pierce. This is why I have so many heals, is because she is an 80%. She demands to be above 80% HP. Once that HP falls off, she'll start recovering her own HP. The main problem is that her damage is so tiny and minuscule that it's not even really all that amazing. So, fuck off. Damn, sirens. I'm trying to figure out if whether or not that siren's going to come down the street. And yeah. Oh boy, here it comes. Whew, I know exactly where it's going to. It's headed towards that loop that a lot of people get in an accident at. Yeah. Anyway, Wonderland is... Wonderland is, 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 Wonderland is Wonderland is her burst skill. It's a selfish skill. All she does is increase her overall charge speed, overall attack. One thing that a lot of people will probably tell you is that Alice is really good. What they don't tell you is that you have to have at least minimum of skill 8 in both of these, and actually it'll receive a very valid return in her damage output. Otherwise, she's an extremely demanding investment. I fucking hate that. But at least the nice thing about that Alice Diary was it gave me almost enough resources, so I don't have to really waste my resources that I would have actually used on somebody else. I used the resources that came along with it. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, so I had to actually heavily invest. I am actually seeing some return in it, but it's just this like it's way too fucking demanding. This is extremely demanding. It's so terrible. I look at Soda and it's like I actually does what I wanted to do, and that's clear up fodder, make damage happen, and reliably be an okay Nikke that doesn't have to have a very demanding sort of skill set. Alice, on the other hand, she wants heavily investment, needs to be topped off with HP at all times, more ammo, more charge speed. Don't get me wrong, this is actually a really good. I'm seeing an overall good return. But this is just way too much fucking demanding resources to be putting into. On top of she needs to be in a team that actually is going to keep her healthy enough so that way her Pierce actually works. So far, it's been working out okay. So far. I gave her the charge cube, charge damage. I would give her the charge speed cube, but I actually did upgrade this relatively recently. But other Nikkes are making better use of it, need to make use of it in the form of arena. So other than that, Alice is just Alice. I mean, I don't really care for Alice. I don't care for Alice too much in the grand scheme of things when it comes to her moveset, her weapon, but I do like the character. Just don't. It's just oversaturated hype character. Other than that, the burst rotation usually is as followed. It goes Soda, then Blanc, and then Noir. And then Soda, then Blanc, and then Alice. Which is usually, by the time that happens, the stage target will have usually showed up. If we do need it, I'll do Noise for emergency healing, and then Blanc for healing, and then Alice for damage dealing. Or, for Noir. It usually goes Soda, Blanc, then Noir. But if it needs heals, then we'll go Noise, Blanc, and then whoever's next in the rotation. This team generates way too much burst, I will tell you that much, mostly because of burst generator here, and I think burst generator here. So I do need cooldown reduction, hence why I am planning to get rid of Blanc and Noir for Dolla and Winter Ludmilla. And when I do get rid of both of them, I will have 2 snipers, which will really suck, but I'll have 2 machine gunners that'll actually make up for it. I'll have taunts, I'll have heals, I'll have range. That's really what's really important later on down the line for me in the Tetra Tower is range, because everything's really, really distant. These are the only 4 Nikkes that can hit, and these are the only 2 Nikkes that are probably the least damage dealers as of right now, mostly because Defender Nikke, that's kind of my fault for not giving more attack, but I kind of stopped re-rolling. And Shotgunner, because AI is bad in this game. Yeah. As I stated earlier, looking at Wikipedia, I hope you were paying attention, because this is all we fucking have when it comes to Tetra Tower. Shotguns, sniper, shotgun. Limited time unit that was only available this year. Range, assault rifle. Shotguns and range assault rifle in form of an R. I don't think anybody's really going to be taking a recruit, but I could be wrong. There were times where I did actually use that also for range, but it didn't help. And then just this is all we got. Shotgun, sniper, limited time fucking unit, again. Limited time unit. If we just remove that, this is all we got. Shotgun snipers and shotgun snipers. This has been a problem for quite a long time. The only non-shotgun sniper unit we have is Idol Sun, and that's the assault rifle. I won't go on a big rant about this, but I'm pretty sure Shipped Up is fully aware that they don't know shit about their own game. Yeah.